For having me back. Really excited to be back. Before I get into today's seminar, I do want to give us a little commercial for next week's seminar, which is going to be about fake news and how to spot it. So that will be the same time next week on March 23rd. So please join. You can register. If you haven't already registered for that seminar, you can register at stjohnsliving.org/DJ-series2. All right, so let's get right into the main topic for today, which is TV. I'm going to skip introductions since that's already been done, but I do want to, we're going to cover a lot today. So I think some of the most important things is the terminology. There's lots of terms out there. I'm going to share with you some of the terms that you should know. You might already know some of them, but if you don't, it's good as a refresher. I'm also going to talk about your choices with TVs. There are lots of different TVs out there. You may not know what the differences are. I'm going to kind of go over that hopefully fairly quick because there's a lot there. And I want to spend also talk about TV resolution. So when it comes to TV, you got to think about the type of TV that you want, the resolution that you want, and then we'll get into the meat of this, which is all your options that are out there, from cable TV to online to Netflix and Chromecast and Amazon. There's lots of different choices out there. It's kind of mind-boggling. If we have time, which I don't think we will, but if we have time, I'll also talk a little bit about net neutrality and the importance of it. We are going to go for 90 minutes. In fact, I'm going to skip this slide because we really don't need to get into that. And let's talk right off the bat about fear. When I teach, the single biggest barrier that I run into when it comes to teaching is fear. People are afraid, generally speaking. Many folks are afraid of technology, and because there's so many choices out there, because it's kind of mind-boggling and it's constantly changing, it's constantly updating. It's important to know what your options are, but mainly not to be afraid of it. And I always follow every seminar with my favorite quote: "Fear is the mortal enemy of creativity, innovation, and happiness." There's lots of things in life that hold us back, and I have learned that fear seems to be the number one. And if you are 87 years old and you just got an iPad and you have no idea how to use it, but you want to watch movies on it and so on, part of my job is to help overcome that fear. So let's talk about some terms that you should know. First one is streaming. A lot of people, you hear the term, but you may not know exactly what streaming means. Streaming is a method of transmitting and receiving data in real time. Usually when you're streaming something, you are streaming audio or video. And you are streaming that over the internet as a continuous flow of data. The term stream refers to the process of delivering or obtaining media in this manner. So I like to think of it as literally like a stream, okay? A stream is a constant flow of water. Well, streaming video or streaming audio is the same idea. It's a constant stream of data flowing from the company's computer that you are connected to, if it's YouTube or Netflix. You have to be connected in order to stream this data. So you must have a continuous connection to the internet in order for you to stream the file that you are listening to or that you're viewing. What comes into play when it comes to streaming are several things. One, the speed of your internet connection. So do you have high-speed internet? Do you have Frontier? Do you have Spectrum? Do you have Greenlight? What is your internet connection and how quick is it? Also, the strength of your wireless signal. If you have Wi-Fi in your home and you are on an iPad or a laptop, chances are you're going to have Wi-Fi. So the internet speed, the strength of your Wi-Fi signal, as well as the processor that comes built into your computer. All three of these things come into play when it comes to streaming data, so that you're not getting hiccups and pauses and stops when you're streaming a video. So streaming, in a nutshell, you have to be connected to the internet in order to watch or listen to a audio or a video. And that's a constant stream of data. Perfect example of this, I'd say, is YouTube. You probably have all, at some point, watched a YouTube video. YouTube is a perfect example of streaming video, but there's also Netflix and Prime Video and Hulu. So if I, in this example, I'm gonna click on YouTube here, and it's going to bring me to youtube.com. So when I go to youtube.com, which I'm at right now, all these different videos that are on here, if I click on that video, so in this one, I'm going to click on this little dog video. When I click on that video,
only pay for what you need with Liberty Mutual. I just said that.
And I'm watching this video, so I'm going to pause it for now. I am connected to the internet. I'm live. This data is streaming from YouTube's computers to my device. That is the perfect example of streaming. Live connection with video. I love YouTube. All right, we'll stop that for now. Let's go back to Netflix, Primetime Video, Hulu. They all use streaming services, or they're referred to as a streaming service. So you need to be connected to the internet in order to do that. Another term that comes into play when streaming and downloading, but especially when it comes to streaming, is the term buffering. You may have heard this before. We've all experienced buffering. Buffering is when you are streaming audio or video from the internet. Buffering refers to the downloading of a certain amount of data before you can play that data. So what happens is, if you have high-speed internet, you have a fast processor, you've got nice strong Wi-Fi, you're not experiencing buffering. You get a smooth, steady stream of data with no hiccups and no interruptions. But if one of those is off, let's say you got high-speed internet, but you've got an old computer that has a really old processor, your information and the video that you're going to get is going to pause. And you're going to see this little buffering signal. And then it's going to play again. And then it's going to pause. So that's the term is referred to as buffering. And this happens even with live broadcasts. You've seen this a lot when you watch the news. Someone's reporting from a different country. Okay, that video feed, that data feed that's going through the internet, it's buffering. It's got to take time. So it gives you a little bit of information, and then it's sending more and more and more through the pipeline. So what's the difference between streaming and downloading? Unlike streaming, downloading is the process in which the end user obtains the entire digital file for the content before watching or listening to it. So with downloading, you need an internet connection to download the entire file, but you don't need an internet connection to watch it afterwards. Streaming, you need a constant flow. Downloading, you just need enough connection to be able to take that video file or that audio file from that website, download it onto your computer, and once it's downloaded, it is stored on your device. So after downloading the file is stored in your downloads folder. So many times if you purchase a movie online, you can actually download the movie and watch it later without having to be worried about being connected to the internet. So streaming, buffering, downloading. After downloading the file is stored on the user's device, and the user can watch, listen, or use the file without the need of an internet connection. Most things that are downloaded, videos, music, photos, software, documents, and so on. What is an app? The most popular definition of an app is software that runs on a smartphone or tablet, usually an iPad or an Android phone or an Android tablet. But more recently, apps are being installed into what are referred to as smart TVs. But the term app is just simply short for software application. And you can purchase apps using the App Store app on your Apple device, or if you're on an Android device, you would download apps using the Google Play device. I've got a very short video here that talks about apps, how we use them and how we use them moving forward.
The chances are you've been using apps for years. Your home or work computer has apps like a spreadsheet program, calculator, or photo editor. Recently, these apps or applications evolved in a big way. Let's start with platforms. You know, a place to put things. A table, in a basic sense, is a platform. You plug in some plates, cups, and flatware, and it turns into a great place to eat. Computers work the same way. They create platforms for software applications. A spreadsheet and an accounting app can turn a computer into a business tool. Music and video apps can make a computer a studio. For most of their history, apps have seemed big and expensive. We often bought them at a store and loaded them onto a computer with a disk. And most of these apps didn't connect to the internet. Recently, platforms changed in big ways. Our mobile phones and tablets became useful platforms just like our computers, and this enabled a different kind of app. Instead of big, expensive programs, many apps became smaller and cheaper. Instead of coming in a box or taking hours to download, they could be purchased or downloaded for free from the internet with a click, even on the go. This made apps collectible. For little investment, we could collect apps on our devices that reflect our needs and interests. One person's collection may focus on gaming, another business, or both. Now, apps may wake you up in the morning, give you a snapshot of the news, play the music you like, help you get to the airport, check you in, and help you read your new book, all from the palm of your hand. To support all these new apps, we need online marketplaces that make them easy to purchase and download. This way, small teams and large organizations have a way to market, give away, or sell thousands of new apps. And these new apps have another advantage. Many are built to work with the internet. This means they can back up your work, play your music, or connect you with friends wherever you are without opening a web browser. But it's not just phones and tablets. Computers, browsers, social networks, and gaming systems have all become platforms for a new generation of apps. So apps aren't really new. What have changed are platforms and marketplaces that make them easy to purchase and collect for whatever you need to do.
So if you have a smartphone or a tablet, you are familiar with apps. And it kind of started out that way, but we are moving towards apps on your TV that come built in with your TV. And those types of TVs are referred to as smart TVs. A smart TV uses either an Ethernet connection that's plugged right into the TV, basically your internet plugged right into the TV, or your smart TV can also connect to your Wi-Fi within your home. And with that, when your smart TV is connected to the internet, or I'm sorry, when it's connected to your Wi-Fi, it's connected to the internet, it has internet access, and you have the various apps that are available to you. Most models today have built-in Wi-Fi, but you want to ask for sure, if you're going to buy a new TV and you're looking at a smart TV, ask them if there is built-in Wi-Fi into the smart TV itself. If not, you may need an adapter to plug into it. Smart TV may also have the ability to run apps that come built in to the TV. So I have actually, believe it or not, I have an old TV. My TV is probably 10 years old. It's a flat screen TV, but it is not the latest and greatest. It doesn't have built-in apps. But my TV is connected to the internet because I have a device called an Apple TV, which I will talk about in a little bit. So if you have a dumb TV, you can buy a device to plug in and make it a smart TV. Another term, binge watching. Probably heard this a lot. The practice of watching multiple episodes of a television program in rapid succession, typically by the means of DVDs or other digital streaming devices. I found this map. I thought this was kind of interesting. This shows state by state last year what were the most popular binged television programs by state. I don't know if you can make that out, but Game of Thrones was a huge one. I've never seen Game of Thrones, but it was extremely popular. Another term you should be familiar with is HDMI. HDMI stands for High Definition Multimedia Interface. Basically, an HDMI cable can connect your TV to your Blu-ray player, if you have an Apple TV or a Roku or some other type of player, they require some type of HDMI connection. If you have a newer TV, again, a TV probably within the last 10 years, it probably has built-in HDMI ports in the back. But depending on how old it is, you may need separate cables to connect certain devices. Okay, so those are some terms. We're going to talk a lot about other terms, but those are some of the kind of the meaty ones that you need to know. And you, like I said, some of them you probably already know, others you may not. So I'm going to talk some time here about TV choices. I'm going to kind of go through this fairly quick because I want to get to the other stuff. But let's talk a little bit about what your choices are when it comes to TVs and the terminology that comes with that. So you've got LCD, LED, OLED, QLED. Okay, it all started with the CR TV, a tube TV. We're not even going to talk about this because they are no longer in existence. And I thought we'd talk about plasma TVs, but plasma TVs are no longer in existence. What we are looking at now are LCD TVs, which stands for liquid crystal display. An LCD TV is very thin, and it is the most typical screen platform for laptop computers and for TV screens. LCD crystals do not produce their own light, so an external light, such as a fluorescent bulb, is needed to create the image. I've got a really good video in a little bit here I'm going to show you that kind of explains how this whole thing works. And I think it's important to know, especially if you're in the position of maybe purchasing a new TV. I think it's important to know how these things work. So with an LCD TV, you've basically got a main fluorescent bulb that is pushing light through this entire screen of little displays. LCD televisions are thinner and lighter than your typical, well, I wouldn't say your typical, than your old tube TVs, and are available in much larger sizes and much lighter. So an LCD, and then there's an LED, which stands for light emitting diodes. But an LED is an LCD TV. So that's where there's a little bit of confusion. LEDs use the same technology as LCD TVs, but instead of being illuminated by a fluorescent bulb from behind, they are lit by an array of tiny little emitting diodes. So if an LED is a type of LCD TV. OLED, organic light emitting diodes. Now we're getting into some serious technology, and you can see how thin these OLED TVs can be. Many of them are curved, some of the newer ones. What does OLED stand for? Organic light emitting diode. Is a display technology that is fundamentally different than LCD TVs. The most basic difference is that each pixel provides its own illumination. So instead of having one main light pushing through the LCD diodes, you've got each individual pixel has its own individual illumination. So you get a much crisper image. And right now in 2021, they're expensive. But like everything, things come down in price. It's just a matter of time. I've got a very short video here that talks a little bit about the technology. And again, this is something that you should know if you're looking to buy a new TV.
OLED, or OLED, is a television technology that's been used in the best looking TVs we've seen to date. But how does the tech differ from regular TVs, and what do you need to know? OLED televisions produce their images via a different technological process to other kinds of TVs, and we at CNET have been very fond of the result, with the first OLED TV we reviewed producing the best picture quality we've ever seen. But to understand what makes OLED different, you first need to know how pictures are created in an LCD TV, which is the technology in common use today. At the back of LCD TVs there's a backlight, which shines light through liquid crystals, which act a bit like shutters, either allowing light through or not, depending on the current that's run through them. Red, green and blue colour filters put over the top make up an individual tiny on-screen pixel, capable of producing any colour, contributing to an overall visible picture on the screen. OLED uses that same colour combining principle, but the big difference is that there's no backlight. Instead, light is generated by organic compounds that glow when a current is applied. Some OLED designs, including one favoured by LG, use white OLEDs overlaid with red, green and blue filters, but the common trait is that OLED displays don't need a backlight. So why the better picture? Well, it's because each pixel can be shut off. When there's no current flowing, the pixel appears completely black. This extremely high contrast between light and dark makes for a lovely image, and we found beats the picture quality on sets that use backlights, even though TV makers have found clever ways to dim backlights in LCD TVs to make darker parts of the screen as black as possible. OLED screens can also be made very thin and have wide viewing angles, and the tech can also be put to use in bending or transparent displays. OLED is yet to go mainstream, however, and there aren't many TV makers using this technology, plus it remains very expensive, so OLED's commercial future is uncertain. But having been deeply impressed with TVs that use it, we certainly hope we see cheaper sets at a range of prices in years to come. That should be all you need to know for an introduction to OLED, but for much more on TVs and all things tech, stay tuned to CNET.
Okay, so that video is a few years old, but the technology is still the same technology. The big difference is that OLED TVs are very popular. They're still pretty pricey, but again, everything is coming down in price like it always does. And to confuse things more, on top of OLED, there's QLED, quantum dot. And I'm not going to get into this, but basically the difference is better quality. So you've got a QLED and OLED. QLED is like OLED, but better. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic. Okay. So let's conclude when it comes to television. In the end, your choices will boil down to OLED, and LED/LCD TVs. If you can afford a high-end TV, then I recommend going with the OLED route. Now, that being said, OLED is the future as of right now. So you can either wait till prices come down, or if you want a TV now, you can get one now. As far as monitors are concerned, almost every monitor on the market is LED backlit. So you should look out for other specs such as refresh rate, panel type, response time, and so on. I'm not going to get into all of that. It's way too muddy. But basically, this is what you're going to look at right up here. All right, let's talk about TV resolution. So we've talked about the different types of TVs themselves, but let's talk a little bit about TV resolution and what that all means. Let's start with a pixel. What exactly is a pixel? It is a minute area of illumination on a display screen, one of many from which an image is composed. So depending on the resolution of your TV, your monitor, your whatever device you're looking at, your smartphone, whatever it might be, the higher the pixel rate, the cleaner, crisper the image will be. And this all comes into play when it comes to screen resolution. Screen resolution refers to the number of pixels that make up the image on your screen. The image on your screen is built up of thousands or even millions of pixels. The screen creates the image you see by changing the colors of these tiny little pixels and how they're illuminated, whether it's LCD or OLED. As you can see, it becomes easier to make a circle with clear edges the more pixels you have. So the term pixels per inch, or sometimes referred to as dots per inch, basically, the more pixels you have in an image, the cleaner, crisper the image is going to be. So if you have a circle and you've got 10, if that circle is made up of 10 pixels per inch, or 72 or 300, you can see the difference. The higher the pixel rate, the better quality the screen. The reason I show this painting, and I'm sure you're all familiar with this, you've probably seen it, this painting by Georges Seurat, A Sunday Afternoon, I think does a really good job of explaining kind of the idea of pixels. If you're familiar with painting and this particular artist, he was a pointillist, meaning he used tiny little brush marks, tiny little specks of paint to create this image. So if we zoom in on the monkey and we zoom in even closer, that monkey is made up of tiny little dabs of paint. I kind of think of this in terms of pixels as well. So the more pixels, the more dots on a page, the cleaner that image is going to be. And that painting by Georges Seurat is a gigantic painting. It's huge. So as you get closer to it, it's more pixelated. But as you step back, it becomes clearer. Same kind of, well, similar concept when it comes to pixels. All right, let me buzz through here. SD, HD, UHD, 4K, 8K, standard definition, high definition, ultra high definition, 4K, 4K HDR, and the latest player 8K. This all has to do with resolution. And this kind of shows you, again, if we look at 8K, 33 million pixels that make up that image on your screen per inch. So you can see where, 8K TVs are out there. They're starting to come out now, but again, they're just outrageously expensive. And at some point, in my opinion, does the quality really need to be that good? But everybody's different on that. Again, this kind of just shows you a step-by-step guide of that. So basically with 8K or 4K, the bigger the TV, the closer you are to that TV, the tighter the resolution. So it's going to be very crisp as you get closer to it. And as you pull back, it's going to be crisp as well. But it really depends on how close you are to the TV and how physically large that TV is. I have, like I said, I've got a 12-year-old TV. I think it's 44 inches. I got a very small house. I don't need a 72-inch TV because I have no place to put it. But just depends on what you're used to. So again, this kind of just shows you a side-by-side comparison here of the number of pixels per inch. And as you zoom in, now, something to keep in mind when we can kind of conclude all this when it comes to screen resolution, is that TV resolutions are defined by how many pixels there are. For the most part, the higher the pixel, the better the quality of the picture. Doesn't mean the TV is better necessarily. It just means that the quality of the picture is going to be better. If you watch TV from a far distance, you may not even notice the difference between these size TVs. Because as you get further back, it all kind of blends and the quality is the quality, even at a distance. It's really when you're up close is when you really see the difference of the quality. If you're buying a new TV in 2021, chances are you might be getting a 4K model. The thing that you have to keep in mind, and this is where technology always kind of, the struggle with technology is, TVs today are in some cases further ahead than the file formats. What do I mean by that? If I spend the money on a 8K TV today, there aren't movies available in 8K. So I'm not going to see any difference. If I see a low resolution movie on a high resolution TV, it's not going to make any difference. So what has to come into play is they have to match. Okay. That was exhausting. Let's get into our options here. So you've got lots of options when it comes to watching TV. So cable TV, well, we're all familiar with that. Companies such as Chromecast, Charter, AT&T charge a monthly fee ranging anywhere from promotional rates of $30 to more than $100. These same providers also supply internet and landline phone service. This is very important to remember, okay? If you are going to cut the cord, let's say, you know what, I want to get rid of cable TV. That's awesome. And I want to just watch my TV through the internet. Keep in mind that Spectrum also supplies the internet to Rochester. So what happens here is people are cutting their cable. Okay, for example, I don't have cable TV. I've never had cable TV. I don't watch enough TV. And secondly, I don't want or desire 500 channels. I'll never watch it all. So what's happening is people are cutting cable TV. They're getting rid of cable TV. They're using their internet service. But what's going to happen eventually, and it's starting to happen, is that Spectrum and all these internet providers are going to increase your internet costs to compensate for the loss of revenue with cable TV. There's also satellite TV. Satellite companies such as DirecTV, Dish TV provide paid TV services just like cable companies, but you'll probably need a separate line. And again, depending on the service, you may need to buy a separate Dish TV. I would say that this type of television is on its way out because even Dish TV now provides streaming services through internet. So you don't actually need a Dish TV, an actual physical satellite dish. So I think, in my opinion, probably satellite TV will probably be gone in 5 years. All right, so you're thinking about cutting the cord. What are your options? There is what's referred to as online live TV. Services such as Sling TV, Hulu, YouTube compete directly with cable companies by offering live channels online for a monthly service of anywhere from $20 to $40 or sometimes even higher. But the choices can be somewhat limited. So these are just some that I have picked out to refer to. With these streaming TV services, live TV services, you also have just an array of television programs. So it's very similar to cable, but you don't have cable TV. You've got internet TV. So I'm going to share with you the best live stream services for cord cutters. And this is based on CNET. If I'm looking for products, I want to review products before I purchase them. CNET is one of the ones I go to in terms of review. I also go through PC Magazine is another one. So a few others, but CNET is the one that I really look for and look to for advice. So this is just kind of a quick summary here of what your service is. So with Sling TV, it is the best streaming service for your money. It's the least expensive streaming service. It's $35 a month. You've got YouTube TV. It is best for high-end streaming. So with YouTube TV, much of what's on YouTube TV is very high-end 4K quality TV. And it's $65 a month, starting at $65. There's Hulu Live TV. If you're into sports, the best for sports fans is Fubo TV. And then AT&T TV used to be DirecTV. They switched to AT&T TV. And that's the best for channel flippers. If you are a person that wants a ton of channels for $70 a month, AT&T TV is a good choice for that. I'm just going to give you a couple examples here, kind of side-by-side comparisons with you. So YouTube TV, I've got a very good friend of mine who has YouTube TV, and he absolutely loves it. He cut his cable bill. He was spending, I think, $120 a month for cable TV, and now he spends $65. So what's great, there's no contract. It includes all the major league sport networks, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. It is one of the few, it might be the only one out there of online live TV that actually includes PBS. I'm a huge PBS watcher. Now, with that being said, it has NFL, NBA, and MLB networks. It doesn't mean I can watch any NFL game that I want. It just means I can watch the NFL game that is within my area that's being currently viewed. Okay. If I want the NFL network, that is an additional service that I have to pay for on top of YouTube TV. What's nice about YouTube TV is it includes unlimited DVR storage. What does that mean? That means, let's say you want to watch a program and you don't want to watch it now. You can record it, virtually record it, and store it in your YouTube TV storage unit, we'll say. And you can watch it at any time. So if anybody remembers TiVo, is kind of like that. It's basically, it digitally records your programs. And you can watch them when you want to watch them. So that's YouTube TV. This is just a kind of a side-by-side contrast with Hulu TV and regular traditional cable TV. So your price is significantly lowered, and there's obviously no installation fee because you've already got internet service. And you can watch it on your account allows you 3 different devices or 3 different streams that you can watch YouTube TV on. Okay, now let's get into another area, which is subscription streaming, which is probably the one that most people are thinking of when they think about smart TVs and so on. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and other smaller players charge a subscription fee, usually around $8 to $14 a month, for unlimited viewing of all the TV content and movies, including original programs. Shows are delivered over the internet, so you can watch on a computer, smart TV, or mobile device. I would say the big players right now, Netflix is huge, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, and Apple TV Plus. So what does that mean? That means that you can watch across multiple platforms. So you can watch your favorite movie on your smartphone if you want. Or what I do is I have an iPad. And lots of times at night, when I go to bed, I'll have my iPad on my stomach and I will watch a movie or I'll watch some videos or whatever it might be. I have Netflix. So lots of times I'll watch a Netflix movie in my bed on my iPad. How to choose which TV streaming service is best for you. So I've tried my best to kind of hone this down here. So again, I'm using CNET's reviews, and I agree with their reviews on the services that they are referring to. Let's talk about Hulu. So with Hulu, now there's Hulu Live TV, which is different than regular Hulu TV. Hulu Live TV is live programming that is more expensive, $40 a month. With Hulu TV, it's $6 a month. So what's nice about it, it's inexpensive. New shows available soon after they air on network TV. So they don't necessarily have live TV programs, but they will show those TV programs shortly after they've aired. They've got more and more original programs. Fewer original series than Netflix and Amazon Prime. I would say it's a big thing right here, is original series. What do I mean by that? That means that a lot of these TV streaming services are producing original content, which is a huge, huge hit to network TV. NBC, ABC, Fox, CBS. You know, we think of them as having original content. We watch episodes. Well, YouTube TV and Hulu are creating their own original content. So they're directly competing in that space. Netflix, I would say by far is right now the most popular. It's got a very strong recommendation engine, meaning when I watch something on Netflix, Netflix tracks that. So that if I start to watch certain types of programs, Netflix will suggest other similar programs based on things that I have watched. You can also download content to watch later. Why is that important? So let's say you want to watch a movie from Netflix, but you don't want to watch it now, and you want to watch it, I'm making this up, you want to watch it in your car as you're going on a road trip to the Adirondacks. Okay? When you're in your car, you don't have internet connection, Wi-Fi connection strong enough to stream that video. So with Netflix, I can download the video file onto my device and watch it anywhere, anytime, without any internet connection. There aren't any commercials. What else here? Don't like, can't watch shows. The one thing that I personally don't like about Netflix is just me personally. I'm not a big fan of the types of movies that they have available for me. There's tons and tons of movies, but I don't necessarily like them in many cases. And there's tons and tons and tons of movies that I've never even heard of that basically go right to Netflix. What I do really like about Netflix is their documentary section, we'll say. Huge, huge, huge documentary library on Netflix. Just some idea of cost with Netflix. Your basic plan, $8 a month. Video quality is good. This is your resolution. And this is where I'm talking about resolution here, okay? So for high resolution, best video quality, $18 a month. Now, again, don't pay $18 a month if you don't have a high definition 4K TV. You're wasting your money, okay? I have the basic plan. I've got Netflix. I pay $9 a month. It works great for me, but everybody's different. Prime Video is another player. I'm going to just kind of burn through these. $9 a month with Amazon Prime. Another thing to keep in mind, there are videos and movies that are only on Netflix. There are videos and movies that are only on Amazon Prime, okay? A lot of them don't cross over. So in many cases, you may want to buy multiple programs or download multiple apps so you can watch them on these different services. Kind of a new player within the last, maybe couple of years, maybe, is Disney Plus. Wide range. If you're a Disney fan, you've got all their Disney, every single Disney movie is available to you for a $7 a month fee. If you like superhero movies from Marvel, you can do that. But that's, it's Disney. So you're limited to the Disney programs. Peacock is a relatively new player. Peacock is from NBC. So there's a streaming service from NBC. See, we've got some prices here. You can get a free Peacock service. This will have ads with it. Peacock Premium, Peacock Premium Plus, and so on. I'm not going to go through the detail here, but basically the higher the cost, the more services you have with less commercials. HBO Max. HBO Max has taken off considerably during the pandemic. No one's going to the movie theaters over the past year and a half. I haven't seen a movie in a theater in a year and a half. But if I want to see a brand new movie that's out right now, HBO Max, chances are they're going to have that movie. All the movies that are airing for the Oscars that are coming up. I haven't seen a single Oscar movie, but if I wanted to, I could subscribe to HBO Max for $15 a month. It's more pricey than the other ones, so it's got a high price, but I'm going to get movies that are released immediately. So, real quick, Hulu, best for keeping up with current shows, $6 a month. Netflix, best for binging old TV shows, $9. For newer movies, Prime Video, best for Disney and Marvel. Peacock, best for exploring a large free catalog. I'm kind of interested with Peacock is by NBC and Hulu is owned by NBC. So to me, they kind of are all kind of competing with one another. HBO is best for the new movies, $15 a month. And then a couple of other players that are out there. Apple TV Plus launched 15 months ago, and it is $5 a month right now. If you have purchased or are about to purchase maybe a new iPad or a new iPhone, when you purchase that new device, you will get a year of Apple TV Plus for free. After that, it's $5. And then the brand new player, they launched March 4th, is Paramount Plus for $6 a month. So as you can see, the market is getting flooded, and it's hard to keep up and hard to keep track of all this. I'm an Apple TV user. I'm not an Apple TV Plus user, but what is nice with Apple TV Plus and Apple TV is that, again, all your Apple devices work perfectly and seamlessly with Apple TV and Apple TV Plus. So if you have an iPad, an iPhone, an iMac, you may want to consider Apple TV Plus because it works perfectly with those devices. Okay, let's do a demo here. Let me just take a quick check of my time. Okay, so I'm going to set my timer here and see if we can kind of get through this. Okay, so let me switch over to my iPad. Okay, so I'm plugged into my iPad here. I've got all my various apps, and I've got lots of them. But I have a certain folder of apps that I've put together in a folder called TV. These are all my TV-related apps on my iPad. So in order to get an app, let's say you want to get Netflix on your iPad or on your Android tablet, you have to go to the App Store to download the app. So the App Store is the app on Apple. If you're on Android, it's the Google Play app. This is the only place I can download apps on my Apple devices, is the App Store. So if I go back to my TV here. Now, all these apps are free. The app is free. The service you have to pay for. So I was able to download the Netflix app, but I have to pay for the service. So let's open up my Netflix app. I'm going to tap on it. I go into my account. You can have multiple accounts too. So and very quickly on that screen that I showed you, I have an account for me and Julie, and then I have an account for our son Henry. So we can manage what he watches, and we can kind of protect what it is that he watches. Okay, So I've opened up the Netflix app and it automatically just kind of brings me to a show that they are currently promoting. But I can just kind of scroll down here. It shows me what's popular on Netflix. So these are just suggestions, and I can just kind of scroll through here. That's what's popular. This is what's trending. You can create your own playlist. So let's say, you know, this list right here, it's called My List. This is a list of TV programs and movies that I have created that I want to watch at some point. Okay, so I haven't watched them yet, but I put them in my little cubby within Netflix so that I can easily find them later. Comedies, TV shows, anything that on Netflix, anything that has an N right here means it's an original Netflix program. And more and more and more, Netflix, YouTube, they're all creating original content more and more. So let's say I want to search for something. I've got a search bar right up here in the upper right-hand corner. If I tap on that little search icon, my keyboard pops up and I can type in what it is I want to look for. I can search by actor, I can search by director, I can search by genre, I can search by the name of the movie, whatever it is, I can search for. So in this case, I'm going to search for George Clooney. I wonder if George Clooney, oh, there we go. So I'm going to type in George Clooney. So I type in George Clooney and it's going to bring up any movies which aren't, I always pick the wrong one. There's not a lot of George Clooney movies. There's one right here called Midnight Sky. Oh, there's one, Hail Caesar. Okay. So why did these other ones come up? Probably because they came up within either the genre that George Clooney acts in, or maybe he has a cameo, or maybe he directed the film, whatever that might be. So if I want Hail Caesar, I can tap on it and I can play it right now. If I play it right now, what am I doing? I'm streaming the movie. So if I hit play, I have to be connected to the internet in order to watch the movie. That's streaming. If I want to watch it later, or I want to watch it someplace that I don't have internet connection, I can hit download and the movie file will download from Netflix and be stored physically on my iPad. So if I'm interested in this movie, I can just hit play. And it will start. I've got a pause button. I can fast forward 10 seconds at a time, or I can rewind 10 seconds at a time. If I want to fast forward, I can grab this little red dot and I can move it, and I can fast forward it to different parts.
Malachus is played by Bad Whitlock.
Now,
Oh my.
trouble is, it's buffering. I fast forwarded it too much, and the streaming can't catch up with the buffering. So if I'm going to fast forward a movie when I'm streaming it, I have to be mindful about how fast I can fast forward it.
Have they read the script?
Roger.
Let's also invite a rabbi and
I
a
can hit
Protestant padre
pause,
of some sort so we can get...
and so on. If I want to get out of here and I want to go back to my main selection, I can hit this little arrow down here at the bottom. Oh, you know what I think it is? I think it's because I'm plugged into my monitor. Okay, so that's another thing. So this is what happens. The technology recognizes that I'm plugged into a computer and I'm showing the movie. So it's not going to play it. The reason is for copyright issues, okay? So I can't play this movie on my iPad, on my computer for you to watch it. That's illegal. So it recognizes that. That's interesting. So I've got Netflix, I've got PBS, I've got Apple TV, Hulu. They all, again, for the most part, work the same way. I can open up Apple TV. These are movies that I have purchased. So I can actually purchase movies through Apple TV. I can go to movies. I'm sorry, let's go to recent purchases. There we go. So this is Apple TV Plus. So again, I can get 7 days for free. It's $5 a month after that. And again, I can watch any of these movies at any time, whenever I want. Unfortunately, you can't see them because they're copyright protected. Okay. How much time we've got left here? Okay, so let me go back and let's wrap up here. A couple other things I want to share, but we're gonna skip that for now. So, you don't have a smart TV. You don't have a computer, but you've got internet, which would be rare. But let's say you don't have a smart TV, like me. I've got a dumb TV. What do I have? I have what's called an Apple TV. And you can plug those devices into the back of your device. So here are just some of the 4 top players out there. There's Amazon. You can buy the Amazon Stick, the Stick 4K, and the TV Cube for $130. All of these devices plug into the back of your dumb TV, or even your smart TV. You can plug them in your smart TV as well. Roku, similar, different price. Apple TV, Google TV. So each one of them has kind of an entry-level item, except for Apple. Apple, that price has gone up considerably. I have an Apple TV, a small one, and it's older. I bought for $99 probably 5 years ago. It does everything that I need it to do, so I'm not really super concerned about it. But here we go, 4K. All right. So the difference between this is how much storage space do I want with my Apple TV device. And again, why pay 4K if I don't have a 4K TV? I got a very quick video here that kind of shows you how this simple device plugs in. So it doesn't matter which device it is, they all kind of work the same way. And then we're going to wrap up. So let me just show you that video real quick.
This is Chromecast with Google TV. It's a handy streaming device that plugs right into your TV. It comes with a voice remote, so you can be like, find action movies. And it will show you all the action movies on one screen, no matter which one of your streaming services they're on. So no more, wait, where is that movie? Google TV is great at helping you find exactly what you want to watch, even if you don't know what that is yet. What should I watch? So, yeah, that's Chromecast with Google TV from Google.
So that's Chromecast. But Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, they all work the same way. It's a small device, plugs into the back of your TV. Once that is connected to the internet, your dumb TV turns into a smart TV. Okay, I've got more, but I'm going to stop so I can answer some questions. And I'm going to go right into chat. Or did you want to?
If you want to manage it, it's up to you. I can read them to you, whatever you'd like.
Okay, let's go into chat here.
There's a few in there.
Let's see. Yes, I will share slides of the recording. I'm also going to, also available to you too is I've created a how-to video tutorial on everything that we've learned today. I'm going to break it into smaller videos. So there'll be 3 videos, not just one long 90-minute video, that will break it down into more detail. And I'll also provide slides to Jennifer to be able to distribute. How do you define an old computer? How do you define an old computer? I would say an old computer, number one, is the operating system that you're running. So assuming that you're on a PC, if you are running anything other than Windows 10, you have an old computer. If you are running Windows 7 or Vista or Windows 8, those are all old operating systems, and your computer is vulnerable. And when I say vulnerable, it is vulnerable to viruses, to malware, to junk. It is unprotected. So if you have an old computer, meaning that computer is not running Windows 10, it's time to look for a new one. That being said, I worked with a person the other day who has a 12-year-old laptop that's running Windows 10. So the challenge here is they're running the most up-to-date software on their old computer, and their old computer can barely handle it. Okay, so this is kind of similar to your TV in terms of the resolution and whatnot. If your computer is older than, we'll say 6 years old and not running Windows 10, it's time for a new one, in my opinion. I watch college basketball. That is usually FS1 or CBS Sports. Does YouTube have that? Also, I watch Turner Classic Movies. Any chance of that in any of the options besides Spectrum? FS1 and CBS Sports, I believe, is with YouTube TV. You can go to youtubetv.com and you can type in your zip code, and it will tell you every single channel that you have within your zip code. And I'm pretty sure FS1 is in that. I know CBS Sports is in it. Turner Classic Movies, I do not know, but I'm assuming it's available with another service. I couldn't tell you which one. How do you tell if you're getting a fiction movie or a documentary? I guess the number one way I would know is what genre that I'm looking in. So if you do a search in, we'll say Netflix, under documentaries, you're going to get documentaries. If it's a fiction movie, I'm not quite sure how to answer that question, honestly. I would go by title. I guess it was what I would do. I would search by title. How can I make something playing on my iPhone play on my smart TV? You can. Okay, so there's 2 ways you can do that. One is you can physically plug your iPhone into your TV with an HDMI cable. But you need an adapter. There's a white adapter that plugs into your iPhone. That adapter plugs into your HDMI cable, and that can go right into the back of your TV. That's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is you can purchase one of the Apple TV boxes, like I have. So for example, if there's something on my phone that I want to watch on my big screen TV, I have my Apple TV device plugged into the back of my TV, and it's called mirroring. Mirroring. I can mirror whatever is on my phone onto my TV. I do that a lot when I'm giving presentations. I plug my iPad into the TV of where I'm presenting, and I can plug it right into with my HDMI cable or with an Apple TV, and basically my TV becomes a giant iPad. Best for cable connections. I'm not sure what that means. Like CNN, best for cable connections. Sorry, I'm not quite sure what that means. With Dumb TV and Roku, how do I get local stations? Okay, so with your Dumb TV, you pick up local stations just through the airways. Okay, so my example is perfect. I have a Dumb TV. I don't have cable. I have rabbit ears plugged into the back of my TV, and I just pick up local television networks like a regular old TV does. So I can pick up my local network that way. And then with my Roku or with my Apple TV, I can pick up additional programs that are internet-based. So I can pick up movies and Netflix and YouTube and Crackle and Major League Baseball and NFL Network and all this stuff. I can pick that all up through my Apple TV device, but my local TV is picked up through my antenna. Do I need a service if I only want to watch local channels? No, you don't. You don't need, all you need is an antenna. And the quality of antennas have gotten much, much better. I have an old rabbit ears. It's literally a rabbit ears. It's $10. It works fine for me. It's a little tough when we have really windy days. It's not the best quality. But then what I do is if it's too windy and the quality is not good, I'll just turn on my Apple TV and I'll watch a movie on Netflix. And because I'm using my Apple TV, I'm connected to the internet, and the internet is not affected by the weather unless we have a major disaster or something. Any other questions? If we don't, I've got just a few minutes, if you don't mind, Jennifer, I would like to talk a little bit about net neutrality.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that.
And we'll plan on wrapping up at 3:30.
Perfect. Okay, so let me go back to my presentation here, and let's talk a little bit about net neutrality and what that is all about. It might be a term that you've heard of or may not have, but net neutrality is the principle that internet service providers should enable access to all content and applications regardless of the source and without favoring or blocking particular products or websites. The perfect example of explaining net neutrality is by what this video made by Burger King.
There was? With net neutrality, you know, some people, for what it's worth, just, you know?
I don't know exactly, but it is.
Got a number one. Hey, how you doing?
Do you know what number 98, what's going on with it?
Number 98, you got the Whopper?
Yeah.
So you got the slow access Whopper pass?
Wait,
It's on the menu right there with the fast, medium, and slow. Slow Mbps, fast Mbps, or hyper fast Mbps. Mbps, of course, standing for making burgers per second.
So if we want a Whopper now, we have to pay $26.
Well, that's how you get it fast. That's the highest priority.
This is like a lane system?
It's gonna be like 15, yeah, fast lane, slow lane. So like maybe like 15, 20 minutes.
What are you talking about?
Burger King Corporation believes that they can sell more and make more money selling like chicken sandwiches and chicken fries, so now they're slowing down the access to the Whopper. Were you given an option of a chicken sandwich or?
Yeah, I don't want a chicken sandwich, Robert. I want a Whopper.
Do you have any Whoppers ready that aren't?
Yeah. The sambwich is ready. I'm just not allowed to actually give it to you.
What? You can't give me the sandwich? It's ready, but you can't give it to me?
Whopper neutrality was repealed. They voted on it.
Whopper what?
This doesn't make any sense. Fortunately, I have no other choice.
Oh my God, this is the worst thing I've ever heard of.
See, like he got the fast, and now he's getting his.
Are you kidding me? You paid $26 for a Whopper?
Yeah, he ordered it. Now he's a higher priority. So.
Come on, guys, like I want a burger, man.
If you'd like,
this is a bad dream right now. I just want a burger, brother, a burger.
You want
I feel like I'm going to This is crazy.
Here's what I'll do. You have the bag, and I can put it in the bag in 42 seconds. Hold on, 10 seconds. We don't make the rules.
You just enforce these ridiculous rules?
Fortunately, we have to.
Guys, come on.
I felt like I was being taken advantage of in a sense. Just as a customer coming in to get their food, it felt like a power move.
They already changed the policies overnight or whatever.
I didn't think that ordering a Whopper would really open my eyes up to net neutrality.
The Whopper actually taught me about net neutrality. It's stupid, but true.
Net neutrality. It's a seemingly complicated hot-button term, but it's actually based on a pretty simple philosophy, that everything on the internet should be treated equally. Broadband providers shouldn't be able to decide which websites to block or to slow down. Let's look at an example. I pay for cable and internet through a service provider, so when I go online, I expect to be able to watch all the GOAT videos my heart desires. And when I go on Netflix, I expect to be able to binge House of Cards without any interruptions in service. But without net neutrality, there's nothing stopping my service provider from simply blocking websites or slowing down the streaming speeds of websites, like Netflix. And it's already happened. In 2007, Verizon blocked text messages from a pro-choice abortion rights group. Verizon said they had the right to prevent consumers' access to any groups the company might deem controversial or unsavory, though they quickly backtracked. And just last year, Comcast slowed Netflix's streaming speeds until Netflix paid for smoother streaming. Netflix accounts for more than 30% of internet streaming, and Comcast believed that they should be accountable for some of the infrastructure upgrade costs. In February, when Netflix paid up, speeds went back up, as you can see here in the red line. Here's an analogy. Let's say FedEx wants Amazon to give them money because Amazon packages take up a large portion of their shipments, and FedEx thinks that they should chip in for their truck repairs. To pressure Amazon, FedEx slows down their delivery time, but the consumer is the one who paid for the 2-day shipping in the first place, and the consumer is the one hurt by having her packages delayed. The FCC wants to establish clear rules to make sure that broadband providers can't do this. They plan to define the internet providers as common carriers under Title II of the Communications Act. Companies regulated under Title II can't discriminate what services they're providing to the consumer. It's why FedEx can't discriminate against Amazon deliveries. Democrats and President Obama strongly support these regulations. Many Republicans in the broadband industry see it as more unnecessary government oversight. They worry the regulations will prevent innovation and growth. The thinking goes, if AT&T and Comcast are required to let anyone use their lines for free, why would they spend billions of dollars building them in the first place? They also see the free market as a solution. If you don't like Comcast slowing your Netflix, switch to Verizon. The sticking point there is the majority of American consumers currently only have one provider of high-speed internet service to choose from. The debate will likely continue after the FCC rules on this February 26th.
So I was talking earlier about internet service providers and how Spectrum provides not only cable TV to you, but they also provide internet service to you. Most towns only have one internet service provider. So in Rochester, for the longest time, it was Frontier or Spectrum. Those were your two choices for internet service in the Rochester area. And Frontier is horribly slow and very inefficient, and Spectrum is expensive. So who comes along but Greenlight? So I recently signed up, well, about a year ago, I signed up for Greenlight. With Greenlight, I pay half the price for 5 times the speed. And I'm not held, all they do is provide internet service to me. They don't provide any other service to me other than internet. Okay. Thought I'd wrap.
Yeah, we're at 3:30, so want to be respectful of everybody's time. There will be a survey that goes out, and the links to the slides and recordings will be in that email. So look for that in the next day or two. We've got to compile some of the information for you, but as promised, we will give you the content and provide you with some links to the videos as background. So thank you everyone for coming, and I'll put out the slides for some information for you. And if you haven't signed up for the next session, please do that. And we'll look forward to seeing you in a week. Thanks again. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.